You may have noticed that recently I bought a Gibson guitar, and I've been using the Fender as well as the Gibson for all my videos lately. And you might wonder, do you really need two guitars? Do you really need more than one? Well, it is kind of nice to have more than one option because not all songs work on one type of guitar. For example, if you're gonna play Jimi Hendrix, works fine on the Fender Stratocaster. Of course, it's Hendrix. But how does that work on a Gibson? I don't know. It sounds like Hendrix, but Hendrix in a foul mood. Same as with Steve Ray Vaughan. If you're gonna play Steve Ray Vaughan sort of stuff on a Gibson, yeah, it sort of works, but on the Fender, however, better, much better. The sound is more subtle. Before you think that Fender is a superior guitar, we can also turn this scenario around. There are some songs that definitely work better on a Gibson instead of a Fender. For example, besides the sound not being quite right, playing Slash on a Fender, probably not the best idea. I used to do it actually because I only had one guitar, but it's not necessarily that one is better than the other, the Gibson or the Fender. Let's just see how the two guitars sound. Let's start with some basic stuff. Here's the Gibson with a basic sort of riff. I have to say, I love that Gibson sound. The sound is raw, it's honest, unpolished, and I tend to use the bridge pickup quite often because the neck humbucker tends to sound a little bit muddy. Tends to get a bit messy, too much low end. And the bridge pickup has that trebly sound while still having some of that warmth. Now, the Fender, on the other hand, different. It's just a different sound. And I tend to do the opposite on the Fender than I do on the Gibson. I use the neck pickup much more frequently than I would use the bridge pickup because this one is a bit too trebly for my taste on the Fender. That's just a bit too much of a good thing. So here I do the opposite, use the neck pickup. Now, the thing is, when it comes to straightforward riffs, bluesy, bit rock and roll, I tend to prefer the Gibson sound. Me, personally, yeah? So 1 point for me goes to Gibson here. Now, how about chords and rhythm guitar, embellishments and that sort of stuff? On the Fender, because Gibson is not a subtle guitar, playing those sweet embellishments, it's quite hard to do, to make it sound right on the Gibson. You might say, well, let's try a different humbucker, pickup, neck. It's just too muddy. Bridge. It's just too much treble. You can make it sound okay, but it's gonna take a lot more tweaking on the amp to make something out of it. While the Fender sounds great straight out of the box. So here, I'd say it's 1 point definitely for Fender. Now, how about something else? How about funk? How does that go? Let's start with the Gibson. The thing with Fender is you have more options when it comes to the pickups. You've got the neck pickup, which is like a more warm sound. But when it comes to funk, you can use the combination of the neck and the center pickup, which is one knob down. And that's just perfect for funk. It's just great. When it comes to funk, I'd say it's another point for Fender. Now, let's just do one more. How about jazz? Both the Fender Stratocaster and the Gibson Les Paul aren't your typical jazz guitars, but if I had to choose one over the other, I would probably go with the Gibson Les Paul, because it has a bit more low end, a bit warmer tone, which makes it a bit more suitable for jazz music. Conclusion: the difference between the Fender and the Gibson, and whether you should own one or the other, or perhaps both, it all really depends on what kind of music you're playing, really. Both are great guitars, but if you're in a band playing rhythm guitar, a bit more subtle chords and embellishments, then probably you want to go with the Fender. It's easier to play. But on the other hand, if you're all about heavy rock and you want some sound with balls, then can't go wrong with owning a Gibson guitar. There's nothing better, right? So let me know in the comments down below what you prefer yourself. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.